Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to start with you, Mr. Helberg, because I noticed in your opening comments that you talked about the importance of supporting fossil fuels and LNG, but you didn't mention clean energy jobs, which I found interesting because in my state of New Hampshire, the clean energy jobs are growing faster than the fossil fuel jobs since we don't really have any fossil fuel in the state. And while I don't think we can move immediately to alternative sources of energy, I do think it's an important part of our energy mix, and that continued over-reliance on fossil fuels is not in the long-term interest of the country. And certainly China has recognized that as they're looking at their energy mix in the future. So, but I want to ask you about the reorganization at the State Department, because under the reorganization plan, at least 3 offices, including global health security and diplomacy, cyberspace, and digital policy, will report to you. So can you talk about how you can ensure that the reorganization is effective and maintains the State Department expertise in each of those areas as part of the e-Bureau?
Thank you, Senator. As a private citizen, I'm not read into the full programmatic details of where budgets have been cut and personnel that's is planned on being riffed. With that being said, the Secretary made clear in his Senate testimony recently that the goal of the current reorganization that is in the works is to bring the State Department's mission closer to its original roots, to bring the State Department back to the center of American foreign policy making. Various accumulations of bureaucratic processes has caused the State Department to increasingly become marginalized in the foreign policy making process over the years.
Well, I'm not asking you to comment on specific staffing issues. I'm just asking you to tell me how you think about the e-Bureau and how you would see absorbing those other areas that are not directly related to what has been the long-term mission of the Bureau.
So my understanding is that the North Star of the e-Bureau moving forward will be economic security and economic statecraft, and therefore energy and technology will very much be a part of that. It's hard for me to comment exactly on the different moving parts of the Bureau simply because I haven't seen definitive org charts for what the new shape of the reorg looks like. But ultimately, my job is a job that will be focused on implementing the president's agenda, and therefore, based on where they land with the current state of the org chart, we will go ahead and execute the president's policy to pursue economic statecraft and use economics as a tool to advance security interests for the country.
Thank you, Mr. Kapoor. You have taught at the Naval Postgraduate School, so you appreciate how our men and women in uniform view the allies on the ground who fight with them. And again, I was interested in your opening comment that when you talked about Afghanistan, you talked about wrongfully detained, which I think we would all agree we need to bring home anybody wrongfully detained. But you didn't address the Afghans in the United States, the SIV holders, the people who risked their lives, and many people still are risking their lives and their families' lives who are in Afghanistan because of the Taliban rule. So can you talk about how you will address that if you're confirmed, and whether you will advocate to keep those Afghans who supported our men and women in the military during that fight in the United States so that they will not be sent back to the Taliban?
Thank you, Senator, for the question. I have not been privy to the logic and the balancing of equities behind the review of the Afghan relocation program, and I think.
Well, let me just ask though: do you think Afghanistan now is a safe country to return to, for those who fought with the United States?
Senator, I don't know whether it's how safe it is. I mean, I think
Dr. Kapoor, you have taught at Stanford, you have taught in college, you've taught at the Naval Postgraduate School. It's hard for me to believe that you think that Afghanistan is a safe country for us to send Afghans who help the United States back to, given all of the public reporting about the Taliban and the people who have been killed who fought with the United States.
Senator, again, I don't know what the logic was behind the review and the change in some of the subcomponents of the Afghan relocation program. I know that some of those subcomponents remain in effect. Some of them have been changed, and some of them have been canceled. When and if I'm confirmed, it's something that I'll become more familiar with. But at this point, I don't know what the thinking was behind the change in policy.
Well, I certainly hope that you will continue to advocate for those people who helped us during the war in Afghanistan. Thank you, Mr.